Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
There was a time when the skies were filled with a majestic bird, gliding effortlessly above towns and countryside. But then, a dark period arrived. This bird almost disappeared, driven to the brink of extinction. Today, thanks to incredible conservation efforts, it's making a comeback. Hello everyone. In today's video, we'll explore the fascinating story of the 8 birds. The first one is Red Kite, a bird that was once nearly wiped out from the UK, but is now soaring high again. But how did this happen? And what challenges still remain? Let's dive in on Red Kite. Red kites, once a common sight in medieval towns as scavengers, were nearly driven to extinction in the UK due to poisoning and persecution in the 19th century. A remarkable reintroduction program in the late 20th century restored their numbers, but challenges remain. Illegal poisoning, often targeting predators of game birds, still affects these majestic raptors. Habitat changes and food availability, especially in harsh winters, can also limit their survival. Red kites are a conservation success story, but vigilance is needed to combat illegal practices and ensure the long-term stability of their population, especially in the face of climate change. Second, European turtle dove. The European turtle dove has suffered catastrophic population declines in the UK, largely due to habitat loss and intensive farming. Their breeding sites in hedgerows and woodlands have diminished, and the widespread use of herbicides has reduced the availability of the seeds they rely on. Turtle doves also face immense pressure during migration, with many illegally hunted in southern Europe and North Africa. Conservationists are working to restore habitats and provide supplementary feeding stations, but the species remains critically endangered. The turtle dove symbolizes the urgent need to balance agricultural practices with biodiversity to preserve this once common bird. Third, lapwing. Known for their distinctive peewit calls and striking black and white plumage, lapwings are ground-nesting birds that depend on wetlands and farmland. However, drainage of wetlands and the conversion of traditional grasslands into intensive agriculture have devastated their breeding habitats. Lapwing chicks are particularly vulnerable to predators like foxes and crows, while the lack of damp soil reduces access to the invertebrates they feed on. Conservation measures, such as creating wetland reserves and agri-environment schemes, are helping in some regions. However, without sustained efforts, these once abundant waders may continue their troubling decline across the UK's countryside. 4. Skylark. The skylark, famed for its soaring song flights, has faced steep declines due to modern farming practices. These birds rely on open fields and rough grasslands for nesting and foraging, but intensive agriculture has reduced these habitats. Skylarks build their nests on the ground, making them susceptible to disturbance from machinery, walkers, and predators. Additionally, the shift to monocultures and early harvests leaves them with fewer opportunities to raise multiple broods in a season. Conservation efforts, such as leaving unplowed field margins and encouraging skylark-friendly farming, are vital to ensure that this symbol of rural Britain continues to sing above the fields. 5. Puffin. Puffins, with their colorful beaks and waddling gait, are beloved seabirds, but they face immense challenges in the UK. Climate change is altering ocean ecosystems, reducing the availability of their primary food source, sand eels. This makes it harder for them to feed their chicks, leading to poor breeding success. Storms and rising sea levels also threaten their burrow nests on coastal cliffs. Additionally, puffins are vulnerable to pollution, including plastics and oil spills. Conservationists monitor puffin colonies closely, creating marine protected areas and addressing climate change impacts, but their population remains fragile, with some colonies in sharp decline. 6. Curlew. The curlew, Europe's largest wader, is recognized for its long, curved bill and mournful call. Once common across the UK, its numbers have plummeted due to the drainage of wetlands and the intensification of farming practices, which destroy its breeding habitats. Curlews lay their eggs on the ground, making them vulnerable to predators like foxes and crows. Habitat restoration projects, including the re-wetting of moorlands and conservation of grasslands, aim to protect curlew nesting sites. Despite these efforts, the curlew remains a symbol of the UK's declining biodiversity, highlighting the need for urgent action to reverse its fortunes. 7. House sparrow. The once ubiquitous house sparrow has faced a sharp decline in the UK, primarily due to urbanization and the loss of nesting sites in modern buildings. Their reliance on insects to feed their young makes them particularly vulnerable to the widespread use of pesticides, which reduces insect populations. Additionally, the disappearance of garden vegetation and hedgerows has limited their access to seeds and grains. Noise pollution and increased predation by cats also add to their struggles. Despite their resilience, house sparrows now require efforts like community-led nest box schemes and wildlife-friendly gardening to ensure their survival in increasingly hostile urban environments. 8. Barn owl. With their haunting screeches and silent flight, barn owls are iconic nighttime hunters. However, their survival is challenged by the loss of rough grasslands, where their prey, voles, mice, and shrews, thrives. Agricultural intensification and urban sprawl have drastically reduced suitable habitats. Nesting opportunities have also declined as old barns and trees disappear. Additionally, barn owls are prone to collisions with vehicles when hunting along roadways. Conservation efforts, such as providing nest boxes and preserving meadows, have helped stabilize populations in some areas, but these nocturnal hunters remain vulnerable to environmental changes and require continued protection to thrive in the UK.